and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and today's a little bit different. It is Monday, as we all know, but our format's a little bit different today, but we're going to be okay with that. Both of my co-hosts are out doing other things. They wanted to be here, absolutely, but both Judy and Audrey are away today, but I'll be joined by a few other co-hosts a little bit later on. But right now we're going to go right into our guests, and I'm so excited to welcome Rob McGowan and John Stewart from Life Radio.
It's nice to be with you, Veronique.
Welcome, welcome.
Great
I
to
got
be
to visit you guys on the radio. Now you guys get to visit me on the TV.
It was nice to have you on, too.
Hey, thank you. I enjoyed this.
We look better on the radio than we do here.
We all a little bit have a face for radio, right?
That's true.
So I'm going to get you to introduce yourselves to our audience. So John, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm John Stewart, and I'm here today on behalf of Life Radio. I started Life Radio a number of years ago, and I live in the community and pastor a couple of churches. And how much do you want to know about me?
You just tell us whatever you want.
Wow. Well,
we've got a whole bunch of minutes to put together here.
okay.
And that's okay.
Okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the story behind how we
Yes.
started Life Radio.
Absolutely.
I was in Germany, and I'm from Blackville.
Okay.
Little small community, New Brunswick, and
Little small.
little small community, and I was in Munich, Germany, and we were at, a friend of mine said, I'm going to take you to Oktoberfest. I'm a pastor.
No.
I didn't know what Oktoberfest was.
Really?
I had no idea. I thought it was like the Chatham Exhibition.
Oh, little different. See, I was born in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. Now we left when I was very young. I was only 4 when I left, but my parents took me to 1 or 2.
Right. So when I got there was 1 million Germans drunk
Imagine.
in one place.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about that, and I got to thinking about what we could do to make the world a better place at the time. And there's a little creative thought come into my mind to advertise. So Ian Byers was running CFAN at the time. I went to his station. I said, I'd like to advertise on your station. Oh, you're at the right place, he said. You know how Ian was, great guy. And he said, what do you want to advertise? I said, God. God, he said. Does he need advertising?
Probably a little bit of a different concept there.
Yeah. I said, yeah, by the sound of things in here, Ian, I think he does.
Okay.
So Ian let me on, and we started a thing called A Grain of Mustard Seed.
I remember.
And it was a 30-second commercial for God.
Yeah.
And of course, the grain of mustard seed began to grow. And we started a radio station. The way we started our radio station initially was we were helping young people that were in trouble.
Okay.
And we brought in 10 young people that were in trouble, and we trained them to be announcers.
Interesting.
Very interesting, because it brought their self-esteem
Of
way
course,
up.
of course.
People meet them on the street and say, oh, I heard you on the radio and you sounded great and
Yeah.
you're doing a great job. And it really helped them. So we started in the little community of Blackville, and then we put a transmitter in Mamershee.
Yes.
And we rebroadcast it, and then we went to CRTC, and we asked for a bigger station in Mamershee and rebroadcast back to Blackville.
Okay.
And so now we are Life Radio, 96.5 in Mamershee, 107.7 in Blackville, and
I always wondered about that, actually, why there was two stations.
LifeRadio.ca online.
Okay.
You can get us anywhere in the world. You know, I listen to Life Radio on the remote place in the Philippines.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can hear it. I heard it in Tokyo. I've heard it in Europe. All over the world, you can hear Life Radio. It's
Interesting.
liferadio.ca.
Very good.
Keep that in your mind.
It's right there. It's,
Yeah.
it's definitely implanted. The grain of mustard seed is growing.
Yes.
Rob, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I get into radio not to be on the radio.
Uh-huh.
That sort of, I don't know how that happened, actually. But
As the best things do, they just happen.
my goal was to sort of get the radio station known. So I went out and I thought, oh, what can we do? So I went out to different venues and brought the radio station out to the community.
Yeah.
Like the Goodie Shop, we have shows on Friday, and we have in Mill Cove Coffee, we have different shows talking to people, entrepreneurs and politicians about what's actually going on in Miramichi.
Yeah.
And so that seemed like a good idea, and then people seemed to like that whole concept, and then they asked me to do something on the radio, and before I knew it, somehow the radio just became a whole thing to me. And I love having people on, as you know, and talking.
So you
and
have
back
the
and forth.
afternoon show.
Yes, yes. And people know I'm always looking to have people on there
Yes.
because I don't like talking to myself. I love having people on.
Well, you know, I talk to myself quite often.
Do you?
I do.
I tried that once with a teddy bear. I put him on the show. I
Yes,
remember
you were
telling you that
telling me
story.
about that.
And he didn't answer back to us. So
No.
now I have lots of guests. We have new shows starting up. We have a political show because I've always felt with the politics around here, everybody's always talking about what's going on,
Yeah.
but they don't actually know.
Okay.
So having all the politicians on all the time is a way to listen in. You can either listen to the breakfast show or our new Saturday political show.
Oh, okay.
And every week find out what's actually going on in council, what they're doing, who's going to be running, because this year's an election year, so it's an
It is a
important thing.
municipal election year. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good because then you get a lot of different views then from all of our politicians,
Yeah.
which is wonderful.
I felt like the radio station should be the community's voice. So we go to the different charities and different people, and we bring them on and say, what is it you're doing for the community and how can we help? And we let them have their voice. So that's our goal, is to make it community radio. That's for everybody.
Yeah, we had some fun just before Christmas. So Rachel, who's of course been on our show before and hosted with me and with Judy, Rachel and I got to hang out with you and we recorded a show.
Yes, that was a lot of fun co-hosting, isn't it?
It was a lot of fun, yeah. It's we got to tell some stories about Christmas and our favorite Christmas traditions, and
Yeah.
and I got to talk about my favorite Christmas songs, and
And what is it?
it's Snoopy
That was
versus the
quite the
Red
story.
Baron.
One of them had an opera song, and one had
Yep.
Snoopy and the Red Baron. So they had a big battle back and forth as to
Mine's more fun.
who was classier.
Okay.
Mine's more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's funny because so a few years ago, Rachel and I have been friends for years, and a couple of years ago, we got to meet you, Rob,
Yes.
because we all did a play together.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Rob was my husband.
Yes.
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Wow, how
yeah.
did that work?
Well, not well.
A lot of chocolate involved.
Yeah, a lot of chocolate involved. But it was a lot of fun. And so then, of course, our friendship came out of that. So we were pretty lucky. So why is having a station like Life Radio in our community so important?
Well, I think it's important. We call ourselves the positive voice
Yeah.
of the Mamarshee. And the reason we call ourselves the positive voice is we don't go to the court and find out what's
Right.
going on there and who the police are dealing with. We try to give news that is positive news, that is encouraging news. And our songs are all about positive things and encouraging things, family oriented. You can take your children in the car and listen to Life Radio. And it's locally owned and operated so that it has, well, I know that all of the stations have a local flavor to them, but if there's someone unemployed in Mamarshee, it's my uncle,
Yeah.
it's my brother.
Yeah.
So the stories are told from a very local perspective. And we're not, as of yet, we're not dealing with the rest of the province. And so we keep everything extremely local and as positive as we possibly can make it, so that if you need encouragement, you know, some of the local police tell me at night when they're driving all alone, they listen to Life Radio.
Yeah.
I had someone tell me that had a major issue in their home, that they never shut Life Radio off, let it play night and day.
Okay.
And so it's there to encourage people, and it's there to,
We have a lot of. We couldn't run Life Radio without the volunteers.
Right.
There's a lot of people help us out, and we're always looking for volunteers too. So if you want to help out at Life Radio, that's fine. We'd love to have anybody, and it makes a difference because and a lot of our money goes into the impacting the community. Everything we do is to make a difference. Everything from education. John's been on all kinds of education boards and putting money into the system for as long as we can remember.
Yeah.
So that and anything that we can do that makes a difference. If you're a charity and you need help,
Yeah.
you come to Life Radio. We don't charge you to be on there. We
Yeah.
want you to get your voice out there and make sure we can help you.
Yeah.
That's
last
it.
year we were involved in a big thing with Ann Morrissey called Cradle to Career.
Okay.
And what happened in the Mamarshee was they did a test in the school and they found out kids in grade 3 weren't reading up to grade 3 level.
Okay.
And so we did a big promotion on the radio where we actually read a bedtime story at night to the children.
Really?
Yes, and,
Okay.
you could listen in, because one of the problems in some homes, the parents aren't there to read. In some homes, they can't read.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we teamed up with the library. The library had a story, we had a story, and the parents could bring their kids around the radio about 7:30 in the evening and listen to the story. and then they would learn to read and get excited about reading.
Okay.
And you know, library cards started increasing as parents took
I'm
their
sure.
children to the library. And
The number was phenomenal. It actually went from 100 every season to 500
Really?
in library
Yes.
cards. Yeah, so it made a huge impact.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff we always are looking for. How can we impact the community in some way and make a difference?
Now, Rob, I know on your show, one of your goals is to have
Everybody in Miramichi, on.
right.
Every voice at one point or another.
So
so
why?
if you're listening, he's going to get
That's
you.
Yeah,
right.
I'm coming for you.
So why is that? Why is that something that you want to do?
Well, the whole understanding is for me, the radio station is for people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we want you to come on, and by telling your story, we'll get a better understanding of what it is as a community we want from our radio station. So the more people that come on, the more we understand and get a better comprehension of who we are as a group.
Yeah, well, and Dad was home for Christmas, but we are going to get him up there at some point. Dad's lifelong dream has been to be on the radio.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, so Rob had been kind enough to invite Dad over the Christmas holidays, but given everything that was, I have to say hi to my mom.
Yes.
I have to say hi to my mom and to Lottie, who is hanging out with her, so because they're watching today. So we want to make
Right.
sure that she knows that I know she's there. So hi, Mom. It's such a cheesy thing to do, but it's, you know what? It matters, though.
Oh,
It
yeah.
matters. Hi, Mom. But anyway, so Dad was home over the Christmas holiday because Mom hasn't been feeling good, but she's working hard on getting better, and she's been in the hospital. So he was home visiting, so he didn't get a chance to come up to the radio station and see you yet. But we're hoping when he comes home in March that we'll get there too.
That was great, actually, because a friend of John's that helps us out with the radio station was looking forward to meeting him.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
over there too, so
Oh, really?
back and forth doing work and programs over there.
Oh,
So it's
You know,
been
Veronique,
interesting.
if you go on Stats Canada, Miramichi is 99% Christian.
Oh, okay.
Large Christian community. And so they're looking, the community is always looking for the type of stuff we have, the positive sign.
Yeah.
So,
So what's next for you guys?
Well, besides getting everybody in town on the radio,
Yes, which
we'll
is
find another.
which is quite the goal.
We have the elections coming up for this year, municipal. So
Yes.
we want to have we want to make sure people have an informed choice. We're going to have the politicians on every weekend talking about what they
Good.
want to do for the community and
Good.
we'll straight from their voice because
Yeah.
a lot of them get attacked on social media and stuff. That's just it's just not necessary. So
Well, it's interesting because we were talking about that when Mayor Lorden was on about how tough it is in this day and age with social media, right? And no matter what your political beliefs or even just your beliefs in general, we've lost the art of being able to have a disagreement without hating each other.
right.
yes,
You know, it's so negative and it's so vile when you see, the back and forth. It's really easy to have that keyboard warrior kind of conversation rather than a more constructive one and to actually listen to each other and hear what we have to say. So I'm glad to hear that you're going to be doing that you're going to be inviting, our local politicians on to be able to have that space to share, because I know definitely in our social media world, it's a tough one.
We're always growing. And just on the weekend, we were presented with an opportunity to touch Fredericton and Woodstock and St.
Wonderful.
Stephen. And,
yeah, we might have another station for Fredericton. So
Okay.
we'll go from here all the way to Fredericton, which will be
Right.
fantastic.
Interesting.
That would
Okay.
be awesome.
Wow.
And and we're working on local musicians. We have a program with Wynn Curtis and the group there that
Oh,
they're
yes.
going to start bringing them in and having some local people that are going to be playing on the radio and things like that, and helping promote them. So everything is about local for us,
Wonderful. That's
making
exciting.
a huge impact. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, so that means then you're still growing. Then, if you're looking at other
Yes,
markets, then you're still
yes.
growing.
there's a huge market for what we're doing. In fact, the Christian music genre is one of the fastest growing of all of them
Okay.
right now. And we have some tremendous programs. Every aspect of life is covered. And that's our goal. Our goal is to try to help people in every aspect of life. And as Rob was saying, volunteers certainly don't hurt.
Yeah.
When you're local, you have a certain
Yeah.
amount of budget that you can work with, but
Most of our organizations are looking for
Yeah.
volunteers for sure. It's we're a community that's known for our volunteerism, which is a wonderful thing. But it also means that just about everything runs on
Yes.
volunteers, and I think sometimes they're getting a little tired. Eh?
Well, and the other thing is the next generation, we haven't motivated them the way we should. And we need to get after them. And when you volunteer for something, there's so much good comes back to you. I tell young people all the time, if you get involved as a volunteer, you're networking. People get to see you, people get to know you. You can get a job from volunteering. Often people get real good jobs from volunteering. And you walk through the hospital and you see all the things, people complain. We don't have this, we don't have that. Well, volunteers can add all that to the hospital.
Yep, for
And
sure.
a year or so ago, we put a drive on to bring volunteers to the hospital, and we brought in 100 volunteers to the hospital. So it was it's a huge thing. The schools need volunteers. They need people to go and read. And so there's all kinds of places where you can really make a difference in our world.
You have to find your passion.
Yes, by giving of your time, by giving of your talent, by giving of your energy, you can make the world a better place, and that's what it's really all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think people sometimes think that they have to volunteer hundreds of hours in order to make a
Right.
difference. And I think really what we need to remember and what we need to instill in our friends and our family and the people that are, our next generation that's coming up is that sometimes it only needs an hour,
Yes.
to really to impact somebody.
I heard the story of a great man when he was dying. He said, "The only thing I have now are the things I gave away."
Yeah, I can
And-
understand that.
And so there's such an important thing of giving of yourself.
Yeah.
And you grow. You as a person grow because you get all kinds of exposure to people and other things. And it makes your life better. I drove the ambulance in Blackville for a number of years, and we volunteered in all kinds of places. And some of them we were good at and some of them we weren't.
In our last 30 seconds, what do you want to say to everybody?
Treat everybody around you good.
Great.
That's all I can say.
And I'd like to say, if you have a minute, give it away.
That's a good one. I like that.
Perfect.
Well, I really want to thank you both for joining me today. It was a
Oh.
wonderful to hear about everything that you're doing and what's coming up. And we'll be sure to share it on our Facebook page, and we'll send you over the video after this one's done.
Sounds awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be with you today.
Well, I really enjoyed it, and you know what? And I really enjoyed coming on the radio with you guys. So don't go too far. We'll be right back after break. Grab a coffee, snuggle up a little bit, and come back and join us. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault. Unfortunately, my beautiful, wonderful, amazingly fabulous co-hosts are not here with me today, although I did draft somebody equally fabulous.
That's it. We're not beautiful and fabulous. What's going on
You
here?
are beautiful and fabulous, Darcy. So joining me now, Darcy is going to co-host with me for the
Yes.
rest of the show, so I'm really thankful that Darcy joined me. Thank you for
Now I'll
that.
apologize because you messaged me about an hour before the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got my in at 4 o'clock in the morning at the radio station gear on.
You're
so.
looking fabulous. I'm okay with it. And we match. Look, we're both in
Well,
black.
that's true.
See, we're
good.
good.
Yeah. Here we
So
go.
Darcy's going to be with me for the rest of the show as a co-host,
Yes.
but we are now joined by our guest for this segment, Lowell Loveday. Welcome.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me on. It's great to be back.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys as well.
I don't know how
Yes.
it happened that we're here now in January.
It's the 20s.
I know it's the 20s.
It's the roaring 20s.
It's the roaring 20s. I'm
It is the
embracing the roaring 20s.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So Lowell is a financial planner. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm been a financial planner, I guess, for over 30 years now.
No way.
I work out of the office in Miramichi down on Henderson Street in Chatham with my partner Cheryl, and her and I have been, I guess, in business together forever. So, yeah,
That's
it is incredible. I would never have thought that throwing the dart at the world when I left home,
Yeah.
that I was going to end up in Miramichi, New
Yes,
Brunswick.
of course.
For many years. Miramichi, where's that? My family's from Southern Ontario, so that's the pronunciation that
Yeah.
everybody had for years. So
Yes,
so
but
yeah, so here
we're
we
gonna
are now.
we're gonna hold you to our own though now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you've been here long enough.
I've been here long enough. I think so too. Yeah, yeah.
And you're also a proud Rotarian.
And very proud Rotarian. Been a Rotarian for coming on to 15, maybe a little bit more years now. And that's my profession. Work is just a sideline.
Yeah, that's right,
You
yeah.
know, the way that things go. But yeah, I really love what Rotary does, and I'm so proud to be part of it there. And I think just a great segue into the conversation just before that you were having with
Yes.
Life Radio with
Yeah.
John and Rob, that I really liked what they were talking about, reading a bedtime story to the kids on the radio because for the reasons
Yeah.
that they had. And literacy is a big, one of the big six, I guess we can call them with Rotary, of things that we want to address. And the Chatham Rotary's just started a new program called it's new to us, but it's been in existence for a long time, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Oh yes.
And they, what that is that you just have to register your child under 5, and they will receive a book a month. So you just need to get to us, get an application, and we'll submit it, and that child will get a book a month until they're 5 that you can read to them every night. And I just saw on Facebook a couple weeks ago, they sent out their 100 millionth book.
Wow. That's
So this has been
amazing.
going on for a long time, and
Yeah.
and Chatham Rotary's just taken that on. So
Isn't that amazing?
so yeah, so no, it's whatever we can do to try to help out. It's crazy.
And that's what I love about service clubs. You guys have so many cool initiatives and very community-based initiatives as well. It's great to see. And a lot of times people don't hear about them.
No.
You got to kind of get the word out.
Yeah, no, and that's very true, Darcy, and I guess we just keep plugging away and try to find a need in the community or something
Yeah.
like literacy to try to bring that up because that just goes back. It was in the paper just not too awful long ago where literacy is a really big problem
Yeah.
and a big issue, and whatever we can do to bring that up and help
Isn't
out.
that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a reader as a kid. That was what I'm an only child, so that
Oh.
kept me entertained. And we traveled a lot because my dad was in the military, and that's what I would do is I would read from the moment I could read. That's all I did.
No.
I remember people coming to the house when I was a kid and they say, "Isn't there a child here?" And I'd be off reading somewhere.
Yeah.
I was just by myself.
Yeah.
Reading with the head stuck
Off
in a
you go.
book. They would expect me to be running around,
Exactly.
but no, I had a book somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
no.
you
I
got to
get
get
it.
kids reading early. Both my kids were big readers, and because they were very
Okay.
early on,
Yep.
introduced reading to them and stuff, and got them into a love of it. So yeah,
No, and I think that's awesome. So this program for a family that maybe can't afford a book,
Yeah.
you just sign up and your child's going to get a book until they're 5 years old.
That's
A book a
awesome.
month.
Awesome.
So
Well, and we've talked often, Darcy, because you've been on the show with Food for Friends, right? So when necessities
yes.
are tough to come by, then those things like books, which can be a luxury, those go on the back burner. So
Absolutely.
imagine being able to then have those books coming in all the time. I think that's awesome.
no, absolutely, no.
Yeah.
So something we just started, and we're very interested in
Exciting.
getting the word out and getting going. I
Yeah.
think we have about 50 children's names in so far.
Wow.
And they'll be starting to get books. This will be the first wave, and probably March or April, there'll be some books starting to arrive. So
That's great. Love it.
Exciting.
no, it'll be great.
So let's talk about the tough stuff. Money.
Money.
And how to have more of it. Because I don't have a lot of it, and I would like to have more of it.
Yeah, don't we all though.
Yeah. Well, the biggest way to do that is those little pink tickets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday and Saturday. Make sure you get one of those.
Yes!
And yeah.
So let's say I win one of those little
Yes,
pink tickets. What do I do with it?
I take it to you and Andy. What do you,
Yes.
what do you do?
Yes.
What do you do for
Please
it?
help me.
And then you just say thank you very much, and
Never touch it
and I'll
again.
be saying yes. Our next meeting will be at your villa in Bahamas. So
Great.
I'll be there.
So far, I'm liking this plan.
I like this idea. Yeah. Why don't we should have talked before? I
Yeah.
want a villa.
Yeah, we're like,
But yeah.
so it's got to be, and all kidding, really, I do want more of it, but it's got to be one of the toughest things, though, is to manage money, right? Because the bills never stop coming.
Well, and that'll never change for your entire, for your life,
Yeah.
right? Your entire life.
How do we
right?
get better at it? So I have a little bit of money, so I have $100, let's say, at this moment. What do I come see you, Lowell? What do I do?
Well, yeah, I guess that's the first thing, I guess, is that, yeah, you have to really want to make a change, maybe if you have an issue, or you really want to set up your financial goals, whether it's maybe for retirement or your kids' education, whatever kind of issues that it might be. And then, you know, you may want to take the step to go see a financial planner to start putting together a plan, a strategy, however that may work. But one of the very first things may be is that, well, you know what? Maybe that $100, we should use that first and pay off your Visa first. You know, pay off your credit card. Maybe we should pay off some debt first. And then, as long as you don't go out and reacquire more debt, which happens a lot.
Yeah, that's always the tough part.
Then we could start to take the savings that we have from that money and start to put it aside for kids' education or paying off the mortgage or retirement or those kind of issues like that. So yeah, there's so many different, and everybody's different. Everyone's unique. Everybody has their own issues that we need to discuss. That, yeah, it's a long and it's an ongoing process, and it's a process that goes on for the rest of your life.
Is that one of the things though that you see most often, Lowell, is that most of us have like a significant amount of credit card debt?
Well, we'll always have debt, in my opinion. We'll always have debt unless you win one of those pink ticket draws or whatever.
Giddy up.
But to manage it, right, and to try to get into a positive relationship, I guess, with debt. You know, not many of us have $40,000 to buy a new vehicle, so you maybe have to go finance that. But are you going to, you know, the questions of buy or lease, and how long it's going to take to pay that off, and then once that's paid off, well, we're going to need another one in another 5 years. So this ongoing lifelong relationship with debt and that is very, very important to, you know, let you be financially successful. And I don't mean successful in terms of having millions of dollars, but I mean successful in meaning able to live the life that you want to live, you know, in comfort.
Right.
And that. So
that the debt is manageable as opposed to...
The debt is manageable as opposed to it's managing crushing you, that you're able to, you know, live the life that you want to live.
And you always hear they say that when you get paid, you should pay yourself first. I think that's probably something you would agree with.
Yes, no, that's a great book. That's from
That's
the book
tougher,
The
though.
Wealthy Barber, David
yes,
Chilton
yes,
from years
yeah,
back.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that was a really big part of it, and it's difficult. But no, that's excellent. And a great way to do that is maybe if your employer offers a packet or a plan at work, you can sign up. It comes right off your paycheck. It goes in. A
You
lot
don't
of
notice
times they'll match it or they'll contribute something towards it, so you're getting a bonus. So. Little things like that, if you can do those things, they help so much. And of course, it's a long time, right? It's not an instant gratification that you're going to, you know, see, it takes a long time for those accounts to build and that. But to get started,
Yeah. A marathon, not a sprint.
it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's exactly.
Yeah, but I'm an instant gratification kind of person. Like, I want it gone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting because I have never been a saver. I've never been a saver. I've always had a lot of debt. I've managed it, but I've always had a lot of debt. But there, one of the banks, one of the national banks, has this thing where it's an account where it skims off a little bit from your regular accounts every time you get paid, right? And so for the first time ever, I had actually saved $1,000. And so, it was mind blowing to me. And
Can I borrow some money?
No, no. That's what happens. People who have money. People who have money don't lend it. That's the problem. Of course, I'll help you, Darcy.
tried.
Of course, I'll help you, Darcy.
Good thinking.
But it was fascinating to me that I didn't notice it happening. Right. So it was just skimming like, you know, $10 here, $12 here. But what it did for me was when Mom was first in the hospital, she was in the hospital in St. John for 3 weeks. And that was very unexpected and very expensive because I was living in a hotel, you know, back and forth to Miramichi. Gas is outrageously expensive at the best of times, right? And that $1,000 actually helped me get through that period of time.
Sure.
And I had never had, like I said, I live on credit card debt, you know, paycheck to paycheck. And it was the first time where I was really able to, you know, have a little bit of a buffer when I needed it.
No, exactly. And so exactly like what we were mentioning before, you know, a first great goal for a lot of people is pay off your debt.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, skim a little off. And after a while, you say, I can't do that. But if you do it and you stick to it, then you don't notice it after a while. And after a while, it's like, it just happens and you build this account up. And then all too often that emergency happens, right? And
Regular life.
it's regular life, the washer and dryer go, or who knows, something, with 3 kids at home, guess what? There's no option. You have to go get another one. So you begin to set yourself up to be able to manage yourself and manage through those.
Is there a misconception thing when people come to you that maybe all you're focused on is retirement, for example, but there's much more to it than that?
Well, just as we were just saying, is that, maybe our discussion will lead down the path that, the first thing we need to do is to get this debt under control. Or talking about the different issues, what's your goals? Oh, my kids' education, I want them to have, money for it. Well, okay, and what's anything else? Well, retirement, or, well, I'd like to build a granny suite at the house for my parent, and that's gonna, well, let's now look at those goals and let's try to see how we can work to get you there.
Do you recommend, this is going to sound like a dumb question, as I formulate it in my head, but like tracking your spending, like is that going to help you like in the long run?
It's going to help. I don't like to use the word budget. I like to just for people to track and understand where the money goes, because we don't. I'm guilty. We don't understand exactly where all of our money goes, and that if you just track it and you know that this is how much is going in these different areas, and then it can help you to formulate a plan to move forward. And the other big part of that is with people moving into retirement, very, very important that you know what you're spending.
Right, because then your income becomes very
Because once you've made that decision that I'm retired and you've left the job, there's no going back.
Yeah.
And for you to say, oh, I forgot I had to get a new car in 6 months, where's that $800 a month going to come from? So...
And oftentimes, and I know for me, because in our family we tend to eat out a lot. You don't notice the $10 here, the $10 there. But if you really, and I did this once, where I actually tracked. Okay, this is how many times I stopped at the gas station to pick up a bag of chips or whatever. That was $1,000 for a month. So the $2 here and the $10 there doesn't seem like much. But at the end of the month, I thought, did I really need those 6 bags of chips?
No, sure. And that comes back to like what Darcy was saying, that pay yourself first, or that little bit coming off. When it comes off, when it's gone, then what you have left is yours.
Right.
And you can go and use it,
And that makes sense.
And go from there. So.
And it's easier now to spend because the card, you don't see the cash in your
No,
wallet.
that's right.
You just tap, tap, tap. And
Well,
there you go.
no. And how often would you look in the wall and say, I'm not breaking that $20 bill.
Yeah.
I'm not breaking it. I got to keep that till Friday. I can't break it. As soon as I break it, it's gone.
Well, that's right, because as soon as you break that 20 or whatever
you're
it
gonna
is,
spend it,
then
yeah.
It's just gone. You're
Yeah.
right. But now, no, it's just
Yeah.
tap everything. It's it's going to be interesting with regards to that, how that unfolds going into the future, because the paper money I can see maybe one day is gone, and how's that going to work?
The vending machines at work take tap.
Yeah, that's
It's not good.
Okay.
It's not good. It's like it is
I
not a
hadn't
good
seen
thing.
that yet.
Oh, it's not
Okay,
good.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that.
Oh yeah, no, you tap that sucker all day long.
yeah.
Like
No,
it's
no,
not good. Yeah,
no,
yeah. Whereas like before, I had to dig for change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's in the last couple minutes that we have together, Lowell? What's your biggest piece of advice for everybody? When they're thinking about their finances and what they do next.
Oh, God, great question, Veronica. Because as we were saying, there's so many different things. But I guess to really, my biggest fear that I have for my clients and for people I know is, my biggest fear is that focusing on retirement, people just aren't aware of what it's going to cost in retirement.
Right.
With healthcare issues and that. I mean, we tend to think of our life as it is now, as how it's going to be for the next 10, 20 years. Illnesses happen, emergencies happen, stuff happens. And the status quo of what we have now is probably not what's going to be there for the rest of our time. And you may have saved up a pool of funds, but that can be eroded extremely fast if some kind of an issue comes up. So you can't plan for everything, but it's a good idea to just, I wish people would maybe just be a little more serious in some cases about yes, I'm going to live for a long time. It's going to take possibly a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the government is not going to take care of me.
Right. Right.
And and that. So yeah, to do some planning and try as best I can to prepare for the future, to have a dignified life,
Yeah.
right? Be
Yeah.
dignified.
To
and
enjoy it, right?
to live in your home as long as possible. Well, how can you do that when you need meals and somebody to come in? You need money to pay for that.
And it's those unexpected, like we have somebody working with mom right now, and so we're paying that out of pocket because it's important and mom needs that right now. And so, yeah, you're right, it's planning for those unexpected. So
Yeah.
our time's up already. That was
Wow.
quick. I know, I don't know where the
Awesome.
time went, but anyway, we'll be sure to have Lowell back on soon this year to make sure to give some more tips. But don't go too far. Grab another cup of coffee, we know you need it, and then come on back and visit us, okay? Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and I am joined by my wonderful, fabulous, amazing co-host, Darcy McLaughlin.
I'm not lending you money either.
No, that's okay. I knew it. I tell this story often because people say, "Oh, how can you do live TV and you do live radio
Yeah.
every day?" And so I say, "Well, I've made massive blunders on the air."
Well, everybody does.
So one of them was I was hosting one day like this, and so in my head, I was about to say, and I'm joined by my fabulous co-host Judy Loge.
Yes.
But what I said was, "Hi, I'm Veronique Arsenault. I'm fabulous."
Yes.
So I'm like, sure.
Little confidence never hurts.
We're gonna go with that. Anyway, I'm very lucky today to be joined by Darcy. My two regular co-hosts are out today. They had other things on the go today, so we're saying hi to them because we missed them, of course.
Yes.
But I was lucky enough that Darcy has a little bit of room in his schedule this afternoon. He was able to join me.
Yeah, I got the
little
last
bit
minute
last
call.
minute.
Sent out the bat signal, and I came running. It's kind of like Bizarro. I have a chat too. We're doing everything in reverse today.
I know,
so,
yeah, and that's exactly this bizarro world. Yeah, normally we would, of course, kick off the show with the quick chat, but that didn't work out today. But that's okay.
No, we're here now. That's all right.
We roll with it.
You guys, live TV, it's just like live radio. It's got to happen no matter what. Just got to
That's
roll
right.
with it. Yeah.
That's right. So we will kick off as we normally do with the positive quotes. I had that today because I didn't want to put that one on you.
No, I wouldn't be good at that. It's not my forte.
I know.
No.
I know. So this is the quote today. Thinking about the new year, of course. So maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place.
No. There we
I
go.
know. Isn't that wonderful? Because sometimes, you know what? Sometimes we get caught up, especially, in setting those resolutions for the new year.
Yeah.
We get very caught up with, oh my goodness, I have to achieve this.
Yes.
Right? My friends have bought a house, or they've had kids, or they've got the big job.
Keeping up
And-
with the Joneses.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think sometimes we get caught up in that. But do you make resolutions, Darcy?
I do not. I'm not a resolution person. I
No?
never have been.
No?
I just don't like to be tied to a specific date on the calendar. Say this is when I'm going to do something. If it's something I have to do a little later in the month or later in the year, I'll do it. I don't want to be beholden to I'm doing this and here we go. So
Yeah.
no, I've never been one for
Not
for
one of your
resolutions.
things?
No.
I don't think I'm a big resolution person either. Like I don't, sit there and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Except for in the last couple of years, I've kind of focused on some things. So
Okay.
2018 was my year of experiences, right? So I
Okay.
wanted to do things with people I loved. Because I knew I had enough stuff at home. I didn't need to buy any, new stuff,
Right.
but I wanted to remember. I wanted to experience things.
Right.
So 2018 was my year of experiences. I had an epic year that year. I did things I never imagined. It was
Right.
fantastic. 2019 was meant to be more of that.
Yeah.
It was not quite. It ended a little, with mom getting sick
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It ended a little bit more differently.
Yeah.
More differently. I don't think that's English, but we'll go with it.
We'll go with it.
Than I had expected. But then 2020. So 2020 is my year to live it well.
Okay.
So whether it be, to do stuff with people, to feel a little bit better myself, or really just to have a good time. to laugh more?
I think as we get older, I think the experiences become more valuable than the stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that you value those things and going places and doing stuff and spending time. They become more valuable the older you get.
Yeah, I don't want to admit that it's my age that's prompting it. I would rather just say I'm enlightened. I'm woke.
Sorry, we're going with that. Oh, if one thing we can do and drop in 2020 is the word woke. I'll be all right.
You know what? I'm like, I don't understand the lingo most of the time. I'm like, woke. Oh,
Woke,
God.
everybody's
I don't,
woke.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'm woke.
Yeah, now 2019 was the year of being woke. So,
Yeah, I don't think
maybe
I'm
we'll go
woke.
back to sleep in 2020.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
all right.
No, 2020 was, I don't have any resolutions except
Yeah.
that, just to feel better and to be better,
That's not a bad way to go. Any year, really, that's
Yeah.
that's a good way to do. So, and for everybody else to be good as well, I think in your life is
Yeah.
a nice way to look forward to the year.
Spend some
Yeah.
time with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you do anything big for over the Christmas holiday?
Really, just a lot of. I took vacation because I'm terrible with taking vacation unless I'm going somewhere.
Yes.
So at the end of the year, I always get the email saying, you have X number of vacation days, please take them. So I took it off, and the wife and I mostly just hung out. She took the time off as well. So
Oh, wow.
but we did a lot of visiting family, and we went for New Year's and
Yeah.
stuff like this here. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, a lot of visiting and folks over and just experiencing Christmas, and a lot of watching sports and playing video games at the end of it.
Did you lose track of time?
Yes.
Like, what day is it?
Entirely.
Yeah.
Entirely. I didn't know if it was a weekend, if it was like there was one day I just said we're leaving town. Because we just hadn't been anywhere. We've been in the pajamas for 2 days or 3
Great.
days.
Sounds
And it's like,
perfect.
get in the car. I don't care where we go. We're putting it on the highway. We're just going to go somewhere. It's not this house.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, so.
But you have a dog at home too, though.
I have a dog at home, yeah.
So you got to spend time with the pup.
Oh, he was loving it because, right now he's home by himself, probably on the couch where he shouldn't be.
Obviously.
But over the course of the Christmas holidays, he had us home all the time. And people were visiting. He loves when people visit.
Yes.
So it was
I-
always kind of great. So.
And I've met your dog.
Yes.
So he's a pit bull.
It's pit bull mix.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've had this conversation because I'm quite terrified of dogs. And we had talked about when they were, talking about the pit bull ban in Quebec. And,
Yes, yes.
But your dog is the biggest sook I've ever seen.
He is. No, there's not a mean bone in his body.
No.
And he won't even bark. If you come to the door, he doesn't bark.
Oh, mine
No.
are insane.
No.
They bark.
People
so
can't
much.
believe it. People can't believe that there's a big dog in the house, and when they go to the door, they don't hear him bark.
Yeah.
But he just loves people. He loves other dogs, and he's a big sook. All he wants is a soft place to lay
Yeah.
and good food. It's his
Well,
whole
don't
thing.
we all
So, yeah. No. And sook is the right word. He is pretty big sook. Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
bit of a wimp.
He's pretty
Yeah.
cute.
He is pretty cute.
He's
yeah,
pretty
So
cute.
he's, but bad. He'll be on. Like I said, he's probably on the couch right now.
Sure,
So, yeah.
I would be too, though. I would do it. So you're talking. You watch some sports over the
Yes,
holidays, and of
yes.
course we've got to talk about the World Juniors.
Oh, the World Juniors! What a comeback! 4-3 win for Team Canada.
Hard
and
to
of course,
believe,
the
eh?
MVP of the tournament was that center ice camera with TSN that the puck bounced off of late in the game, and normally that would be a penalty. And probably, here's the thing: it should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
right.
Can't have enough bad calls against them. I'll take one going the other way.
That's
So,
right.
so that's fine. But yeah, a nice big come from behind win, and
Yeah.
it's always nice. And of course, the country kind of stops and watches that game when they get in the gold medal. So,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, my Facebook feed, as yours probably was just filled up with
Yeah.
it. So it was,
Everybody
it
was
a
Go
lot of
Canada
fun.
Go, and I
Yeah.
didn't watch the gold medal game. I did watch quite a
Okay.
few of the games over the tournament, but I didn't end up watching that game. And but yeah, that's it. Social media. That's your feed. Is Go
Yeah.
Canada Go. Yes, I'm proud to be Canadian today.
For all the ills of social media, and there are a lot.
Absolutely.
There are times in those moments when it absolutely comes together,
Yeah.
and there is that shared experience, and it's kind of nice to do. That's when you look and say, what social media can be.
Yes, like the Raptors, right? We the North.
Yeah, we the North. I even think back locally. Last year, Hockeyville. Everybody was
Absolutely.
on about Hockeyville talking about it. And
Yeah.
did you vote and get out and vote and all this sort of stuff?
Oh,
Did you
yes.
watch and people sharing their photos and stuff?
I am
So
not
it
a
was
robot.
nice. Yeah, I'm not a robot. Crosswalks and fire
And
hydrants.
buses.
Everybody was tired of it. And everywhere you went, everybody knew what you were talking about. It was this
exactly.
collective experience of.
And you're right, because for that period of time
Yeah.
when we were all voting, as
Sure.
we sat on the couch and did this,
Yes.
and it was to pick out where's the street signs. But you're right, didn't matter
Yeah.
where you went, everybody was talking about I'm not a robot, and I'm seeing street signs in my sleep.
It was
or
amazing.
corners of cars.
Yeah. And I was actually, it's funny, as I was watching some sports in the week during the holidays, they were starting to promos for this year's
Yes,
Crown
yeah.
Hockeyville. And I thought, man, I can't believe that's happened. Like it is the biggest thing I think that's ever happened. At
Absolutely.
least in my lifetime here locally.
Absolutely.
And just to think that that happened and we experienced that we were here for that is quite amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a once in a lifetime. It's
Yeah.
the first time the New Brunswick community's won. It'll be a while, I think, before it happens
Oh
again.
yeah,
So.
oh for sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
isn't it amazing though?
Oh, just incredible.
And it brought the region together. Absolutely.
In a way that nothing else has.
Yeah.
And in such a positive way, too.
Yeah.
Not a negative thing, not a protest, not anything. It was something that was positive and for the community. People
Yeah.
got together and said, we're going to win this.
Yeah.
And did.
Amazing.
I still go back to that moment when Gary Bettman pulled the envelope out and read Renews.
Yeah.
And I had a moment, and I've talked to other people, it's the same thing. They blacked out.
Well, and Patty talks about that too.
Yeah,
and I've
like
heard the two of you
everybody-
talk about it.
and I've talked to other people too, where they like kind of blacked out for a moment.
Isn't that
You kind of got to
amazing?
watch back the video to see what happened. Yeah, it's
Well, you know
it's-
what?
yeah.
There are no better reasons to black out than that.
Yeah, listen, a lot of people have blacked out at the Renews rec over the years. This was a
Not
little
for the
different,
sa-
not for the same reason.
A little bit of controversy, though. We'll talk about sports again for a
Sure.
second. A little bit of controversy. The under 18 silver women's hockey game and
Yeah, the
tournament.
gold medal game that they lost in
so
overtime to
they,
the US.
they won silver, but
Yeah.
it wasn't broadcast.
Yeah, and this was a huge thing. I watched Sportsnet and I watched a show called Tim and Sid, and they were talking about it as it was going on. I was watching it on my phone, the game, and they were talking about it, and they were upset because it wasn't on anywhere.
Because it was streamed, though.
It was streamed, but first of all, when the tournament began, the stream was a stationary camera way up in the top level, and it was just this fisheye view of the rink. So the International Ice Hockey Federation said, we got to change this. It didn't make it much better. It looked like
Yeah.
someone stuck a GoPro down by the glass. But the biggest concern was, why was this not on
Agreed.
a broadcast? We have enough sports channels. And we certainly have a lot of international tournaments going on. How come this was not
Agreed.
there? I do believe the boys' U18s are broadcast, so why not the women's?
Yeah.
And so that's been an interesting conversation. But it's almost a positive in that it has started the conversation,
Good.
though.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the analysts come on and talk about why wasn't this on the air, how come it wasn't there, and should it be? And I know that the initial thought is, well, it won't grab the ratings, but you got to build these things up. If you think about the World Juniors, prior to 1991 when TSN took it over, games weren't live. No one cared. We think we cared about this forever. Nobody cared about that tournament. Took place in the backwaters of Europe, friends and family.
Really?
The only time anybody talked about it was when they had the punch up in Piashtani, that time when the big brawl happened.
Yeah.
But when TSN took it over in 91, they began a campaign to promote it and talk about all the NHL players that played it and push live games on your home for the Christmas holidays. And they've built it up over the last 25 years
Right.
to where it is now. So you've got to start
Yeah.
somewhere. So put the darn tournament on, at least the gold medal game.
Yes.
And then let's see if we can build some anticipation year after year for that tournament.
Which, I mean, like, given the fact that that the women's team, the Canadian women's team, has won 8 silver medals in this tournament.
Yeah.
Like, that's significant.
Yeah.
That is some good hockey.
That is.
Why are we not watching it?
And if you look at the Olympics, women's hockey is one of the highest rated sports consistently.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to suspect that Canadians wouldn't rally around a
Right.
women's team internationally playing for Canada. We love hockey. We love cheering for Team Canada.
Exactly.
It's a perfect marriage.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm with
absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully that has started the conversation well enough that we'll see some change and some evolution. And you're right, it's going to take some time, but you know what? Maybe this will be the kickstart that it needs. So there's been a lot going on over the holidays, other than sports.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that's been, I'm sure, on everybody's newsfeed as in social media, the wildfires in Australia.
Unbelievable to see the images that are coming out of that country and the devastation.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I think 24 is the death toll
Yeah,
right now,
that's what
but
I heard
that's going to
yesterday,
go
yeah.
up. There's a lot of folks missing. 500 million animals.
And that's mind-boggling to me. And they're saying that whole species have been wiped out.
Yeah.
You know, and that they're that
Well, they don't even know yet because
No.
nobody can analyze it.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You know, and I think, and we talked about this a little bit off the air, but you know, you see the koalas and the kangaroos, but there are so many other species of
Oh.
animals in Australia, and we don't know what's going to come out of this.
No. And the fauna and everything else. And they're saying that this is going to change the country forever. It cannot change it forever. And, you know, if anybody wanted a tangible example of climate change, here we are. The drought, the dryness that led, I mean, they've always had fires in Australia, but nothing at this level.
Yeah.
And part of it is, it's not entirely climate change in that there's been a lot of mismanagement of
Sure.
land,
Sure.
particularly with agriculture in Australia. But climate change has played a big role here,
Yeah.
huge role in terms of how dry it is, the lack of rain, and just the different, way that the climate has changed in Australia. And so for all those folks who have said, well, I haven't seen it, here
We're
it
living
is.
it, yeah.
Here it is. An entire country's on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got to start to get ourselves together and do something here, because it's absolutely devastating.
And I think, part of the problem with climate change, part of it is and that denial, or I guess, unwillingness to realize that it's going on, is that I think originally, the label that was attached to it was global warming, right?
Right.
And so everybody's thinking that they're going to live in Florida, like temperatures, all over and that's not the reality.
And
of
you
it.
have people in the Senate and the states bringing snowballs in the winter saying, see,
Yeah.
climate change isn't real because there's snow. And
Right.
It's idiotic.
Listen, it is what it is, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, even if we look at how our weather has changed here, right in Miramichi,
Oh.
right? So when I was a kid and we'd come home to visit, there'd be 14-foot snowbanks,
Yep.
and there'd be so much more snow than there was in Ontario when I was living there. But now we're seeing more of that rain and that freezing rain, and so it is evolving here.
Well, and even look at the weather we're having right now, how mild it is. I mean,
I'm okay with
used
it.
to, yeah, you said, but I mean, we're used to freezing around the New Year. You know what I mean? I remember going, like most New Year's Eve, going, bundled up, like can't wait to get
Yeah.
where you're going because you're freezing, and it's been very, very mild.
I know.
Yeah, it's so you're seeing it.
I know, and
Yeah.
it's true, and I think that's where people get wrapped up. Well, it's not warm here, or it's not global warming because we are still seeing ice and snow, but it's that change,
Yeah.
right? It is evolving, and it's not evolving for the better in a lot of places.
No, and I think for a long time people didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because it was melting glaciers in the north, and it was things of that nature. It was
Right.
out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Now, those chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah, and it's terrifying, I mean, we all need to do our part, and we all need to figure out what that part is. And I think that's the piece that we're missing most is, you hear so much. Well, you have to recycle. You have to, and I'm not. My mind isn't wrapped around that way.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet where I'm, recycling or should, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I need to figure out what my part's going to be and how I get
Yeah.
to fix that.
And the personal stuff is a big part of it. I think everybody's got to start to make the changes in terms of what they drive and what they do and how they do things. And small stuff will make a big change. And then there's the bigger things as well. So, and where do we go? And is there the political will, I guess?
That's always a problem.
That's always
That's always
especially
a problem.
down south, north of the border.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about him next show. Yeah. So we'll end off. We've only got actually probably about a little bit less than a minute left, but Star Wars.
You know what? I liked it.
Yeah.
The new one, I wasn't blown away. I wouldn't think it was the greatest movie ever, but it was big, dumb fun, and I enjoyed it. And there was a lot of space battles and
Yep.
laser sword battles. And
I know.
I had a good time. Yeah.
I was a little bit sad. I'm not going to tell you the ending, obviously,
Yeah,
but
no
I was
spoilers here.
Yeah, I was a little bit sad on how it did end. I was hoping for something else. I liked part of it, but didn't like the other part of it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Rise of the Skywalker. Giddy up.
Mandalorian, though, you got to watch it.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's fantastic.
Anyway, thanks, Darcy, so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you all for visiting, and we'll see you next week. Don't go too far, and we loved having you today. Have a great week, everybody.